We are here at the Cash Flow Podcast again, keeping it simple for you. I'm loving this series, getting great feedback about it, so we are going to continue to keep it simple. What is one of the most common questions we get? Can I afford to hire somebody? And there's an easy answer to this one, which I'll give you, but there's a second answer to it. I'll also keep it simple, but I'm going to let you know it. Easy answer is, if you know you can pay somebody for somewhere between 3 to 6 months without needing a miracle to happen, like if you can do it with what you know is going to be happening in your revenues and expenses, then you're in an okay place to think about hiring. But here's what I want to talk about that's also simple, but often missed. When you need to hire somebody, it's not just about money. In our businesses, there are a few things that have value. There's money, absolutely. There's our time, which is also something we often overlook. And there's our energy level and our ability to engage really fully in what we're doing. And sometimes it's time to hire when maybe the money's not there right now, but your time is being dragged into things that aren't adding value to the business, or your time is being sucked away so much from your family that you're about to have a divorce, or your time is running out way too fast over and over again. You look up at the end of the day and you're like, I only got 5% done of what I needed to get done. And we can talk about productivity and all that in another session sometime. But sometimes because of time, it's time to think about hiring somebody, even if the money's not there. And we'll talk about what to do. But the third dimension is energy, your energy level, your love for your business, your love for what you're doing, your passion for what you're doing. Because when that stops coming through, your business is done. Okay? I'm the biggest, most grounded, practical woo-woo person you're ever going to meet. And yeah, businesses need to make money. That's absolutely a given. But you need to have the time to live your life, and you need to enjoy and have the energy to do what you're doing as an entrepreneur. And not even selfishly for you, right? You need to have that energy because it comes across to people, period. If I'm doing this podcast, if I'm in low energy, I was a little low energy when I started this morning. That's something that's a hint to me. Oof, I was low energy there. Why was that? I need to think about that, right? If I have a day like I had a few days ago where I sat down at 7 a.m. and I looked up at midnight and literally felt like I hadn't done anything, I need to think about what's going on, okay? Those sorts of things. But you can afford to hire somebody, yeah, sure, if you have cash in the bank to pay them for 3 to 6 months, or it's guaranteed you're going to pay them for 3 to 6 months. But what I'd challenge you to do is if any of those other things are a problem for you, time or energy, then it may be time to look at how you're spending some of your money so that you can hire somebody. And how are you pricing things so that you could hire somebody? Can you raise your prices? Is it time to raise your prices? Have you always been underselling yourself? Happens out of the gate for a lot of entrepreneurs. And we have a whole Keep It Simple, Stupid episode on that. And these are only 10 or 15 minutes a pop, so it's easy to watch, on how to make sure you're pricing correctly for your client. So if you need to hire somebody, one of the two things is hurting, time or energy. I don't know which it is. And you want to scale. And you look and you go, oh, I can't be guaranteed I can pay them 3 to 6 months. Then go look at the other things you're spending money on and figure out which of those will cause you less stress than hiring somebody will relieve. Okay? And once you determine what that is, you can pick up the money without needing a miracle to pay them. Go back to the episode where we talk about pricing, because almost every single time I get into somebody's business, in our Keep It Simple Club, Keep It Simple Squad, and also out in the world with my clients, almost always there's a pricing problem. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just we undervalue ourselves. We don't think about price in terms of how it's adding value to our client. We think of price in terms of how much it costs us. So I promise that if that itch is coming, I really need to hire somebody, those are the two places to look. Where can I cut a little bit of expenses elsewhere, or how can I raise my prices? More importantly on this question, and a total aside, is make sure you really know who you want to hire. So I'm going to give you a little tip here that I used when I needed to do something because a mentor of mine put it together. Her name's Angela Loria, and she wrote a great book on this. And I think it's called How to Make Them Beg to Work for You. But the first part of that book was, how do you know what you need to hire? And today, the really cool thing is it doesn't have to be a traditional thing. It doesn't have to have a certain set of degrees. It doesn't have to have a certain time or experience in a particular area. What you want to do is identify for yourself through a time study or even something more casual. What am I spending my time on now? And say your list is 20 long. What I want you to do is go down that list of 20 things and ask 2 questions. One, am I the only one who can do it? And some things you are the only one who can do it. Absolutely, there are some. I will challenge you that all of us entrepreneurs think there are more than those than there really are. When I first did this exercise, I was sure it was 10 things. In truth, when I challenged myself, it was more like 2, where I had to be the one to do it, either because of a certain experience that I had, a certain relationship that I had, or it was my role in the company to be kind of the figurehead and the one on stage. So question 1, am I the only one who can do it? Question number 2, and be honest, push yourself here. Once you think you've got it right, push yourself again. Once you think you've narrowed it down to the ones only you can do, ask yourself again. Push through the wall to get the right answer there. The second one is, do I like doing it? Okay. There can be things that you are the only one who can do that you hate doing, or there can be things that you really don't have to do that you love doing. So what you want to do then is go through that list and go pick up the ones that, it's easy, right? If I love it and I have to be the one to do it, that one stays on your plate. If I'm the only one who can do it and I hate it, that may be something to challenge yourself again on whether you're the only one who can do it. If I am not the only one who can do it, anybody could do this, or anybody with a certain skill set could do it, and I hate to do it, that's easy. That goes to the top of the list on your job description. And if it's something, I'm not the only one who can do it, but I really like to do it, I suggest putting that one up on your job description as well. You can keep as much of it as you like. Let me give you an example. I love bookkeeping. I've been a CFO, I've been a controller, I've been an accounting analyst. I loved having the strategy meetings. I could be under the hood of a truck talking to a truck owner as an entrepreneur, or I could be in the boardroom of a $100 million company. And I'm happy in both places. But I love being under the truck of that car going, okay, what are the cost elements here? How do we break them down? How do we bookkeep for them? And then setting up the books to make that work. So keep 1 or 2 of them for yourself. That's easy. You just don't have to do it all. It's time for me at that point to hire a bookkeeper because number 1, they have more time for it. They've spent more time with it. So they're going to be able to do it probably a little faster than I can anyway. And they might as well be on the list. So in thinking about the hiring, yep, you want to have the money to do it, but take your list of tasks, the stuff you spend your time doing, be honest about it. I found that it takes at least 3 weeks of paying attention to what I do to really get a list of everything I do. I've done this a few times, and almost every time I do it, I restructure the company a little bit because I find either now there's something that really doesn't have to be me, or I've stopped enjoying something I used to enjoy. Who knows what it is? But get that list and give it a real run. Give it 3 weeks to figure out what you're doing. Make your list. Do I have to be the one to do it? Do I like doing it? Score yourself on both of those. Use whatever you want. 1 to 3, yes, no. 1 to 5, I don't care. And then peel off the ones that have to be you and you love. They're not up for discussion. You're keeping them. But for the other 3 categories, I think I have to do it, but I hate it. I don't have to do it, but I love it. And I don't have to do it, and I hate it. And create a list of what that job would be. Pretend it's one job. It might not be. It might be bookkeeping and marketing and operations, running a factory, who knows. But write them all down as if it's one job description. Then chop it up into how many jobs it is. It might be one job, and you might look at that and go, there is no one person who can do that whole job. But here's the thing. A lot of times you will find somebody who wants to do a lot of variety. And they're really good at 1 or 2 aspects of it, but they want to learn new stuff all the time. Drop a person like that into the role. They'll be able to make sure you cover the I hate it and I shouldn't be doing it stuff with them, that they've got a really good skill set there. But on the other pieces, they can learn up into it if they want to. Or maybe you need to hire 2 people. Maybe that list is so long, it's time to hire 2 people. So I kind of double answered this question. First is, how do I know if I can afford to hire? Well, it's when you have 3 to 6 months worth of money. If you don't have 3 to 6 months worth of money, go take a look at your expenses. What can you gut? What can you gut? What can you cut? Go take a look at your pricing. What do you need to do to improve your pricing? Then you've determined, okay, yep, I can hire the person. And if either your time or your energy are suffering, it's time to hire somebody. That's the real signal, not your money. And then when you go to do it, don't just go out there and hire a VA or hire a bookkeeper or hire the first person that crosses your path. Make a list of all the tasks you do, sort them into two columns, and in two columns, mark, I love it, column 1, and, or I'm sorry, I'm the only one who can do it, column 1, and I love it or hate it, column 2. And do that exercise, and you'll be glad you listened to this episode. And if you really want then to know how to hire that person, absolutely go read Angela Loria's book, which is called How to Make Them Beg to Work for You. And I think we can leave an Amazon link, Francis, in the notes for that, because it's a good read, because it's got some great ideas on the fact that hiring now is marketing. It's marketing just like marketing to sell in your businesses. It used to be different. We used to call it recruiting. They still sometimes call it recruiting. And it was like, okay, you tell me why I want you to work, why I should have you work with me. Now you want to attract somebody that you convince rightfully that your place is a place that's really cool to work and they want to work there. And you need to market for that. But you also need to make sure that they have exactly the kind of skills you need. And one of the coolest little tips she gave me, which I'll share because I want to ramble, and it's simple, and we're here to keep it simple, is she said, in your job description, wherever you put it, you drop it out on Indeed, you give it to a recruiter, you send it out to your friends on the network, put a sentence in there that just says, do something when you turn in your reply. Make it simple. Say like, bury it and say, somewhere in your reply, use the word dinosaur. And if they don't do that, get them off your list. They didn't read what you're looking for, which means they don't care about what you need. They care about that they need a job, right? So drop a couple little Easter eggs in there that you'll know when people answer your resume whether or not they've taken care of it. And then the really cool thing is you can whop those resumes through AI in a second and say, get rid of any that don't have these 2 words in it or whatever you've done to make sure that they actually read the job description. And that'll reduce your pile by astonishingly a lot of resumes, which is really sad. But most people don't pay attention to the detail. And the ones that are going to stand out for you are not the ones that necessarily look good on paper. They're going to be ones that you talk to that fit your culture, that fit what you need, and that you want to work with, that you know are going to put in that 110%. We're small businesses. We can't afford the other, right? So there it is. How can you afford to hire? How do you know if you can afford to hire someone? I kind of added, when do you know to hire someone? How do you know what work to give them? And then how do you know you've got the right person? So there's our Keep It Simple on hiring for this week. Hope you've enjoyed Cash Flow. Hope you give us a like and subscribe. We'd really, really like to get to help that algorithm a bit so that this gets out to a lot more people out there to just get really simple answers to their finance questions. And keep in mind, we got a link to the Keep It Simple squad down below. It is open for membership. We meet a couple times a month, but you also have full access to me via email and an emergency back channel for questions related to your business. And that is something that I've never offered before, and I'm absolutely loving it. So hope to see you there. In the meantime, I'll catch you on the next Cash Flow podcast.